I think this is by the way, I did not know I was doing that many things. I need to reevaluate my life and my own personal life, work balance. But I do have to say, I was, coming from a position where, I'm involved in a community. I've just loved the last 1 hour I've spent here. Just the clarity of purpose. So I actually had 3 observations. The clarity of purpose. I love this model around giving, right? Because at TIE, we always say, as a group of charter members, we're net givers. And so I love the way you've encapsulated that so well, the process you've put around it, and just the ethos that you represent. And then third, I also noticed that there was a lot of great work being done by Amit here as well. So thank you to Amit Suri and Amit Garg, and yeah. But I do think I will probably talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. I'll talk a little bit about Abhinandan's already shared. He's introduced me and talked about my background, so I don't need to cover that. But I do genuinely believe that communities, the power of networks is immense. And I can see that in this room. I mean, if this is what you all do every week, and just the rigor, I'm really scared of this guy. I'm scared he's gonna buzzer me. So I wanted to make sure I knew exactly how much time I had. But really well done. So professional. You guys have so much clarity. I loved it. And I'm sorry, I just took some notes, while I was listening over the last hour. This is a great room full of entrepreneurs. This is what entrepreneurship is about, right? Entrepreneurship is not about going out and raising capital and getting your names plastered, in the media because you raised capital. Entrepreneurship is about building good old-fashioned business, right? You grow the business, you generate revenue, you create value for shareholders, and you look after your team and your employees and look after yourselves, right? This room really represents that. And I'm just amazed that I've not had a chance to sit with so many entrepreneurs in one room and listen to what they do with that 30-second elevator pitch. I mean, you have all got it figured out so well. I was thinking, gee, if someone asked me what I did, I might not be able to get it done in 30 seconds. Clearly, Abhinandan didn't. It took him like 2 minutes. So I've got to sharpen my own elevator pitch. So I might take some pointers from you guys. I will maybe get into TIE a little bit. I don't know how many people here are familiar with TIE. Okay, great. So a few of you. And we have, I think, Chandan, you mentioned you work with startup investors in your chartered accountancy business. We have an Iron Man here as well. I love that, by the way. There's so many people within TIE who go and do the Iron Man and they call themselves Iron Man, and their LinkedIn says Iron Man, right? But you are the Iron Man. You actually deal in iron. I mean, I thought the only other Iron Man was Naveen Jindal. But, he's more man of steel. You're the Iron Man. So, I think if I pick my biggest takeaway is the values that you guys represent. To be in a community where you're trying to source business and yet demonstrate that ability to hold that ethos and manage your, work around your own principles. I think that is just such an amazing feat. So let me give a quick background on TIE, because some of you can benefit from that. TIE has, and maybe I'll share a little bit of the history as I get into it. I don't know how many of you know this gentleman, Kanwal Rekhi. Kanwal Rekhi was the first Indian entrepreneur to list his company in the US. Yeah, tech entrepreneur. And how TIE started was in 1992. So the seed started in the late 80s, when a number of the big original Indian tech entrepreneurs, folks like Kanwal Rekhi, Vinod Khosla, the founder of Sun Microsystems, Desh Deshpande, and a lot of these guys got together and said, hey man, it's been a very, very hard, tough ride as immigrant entrepreneurs to be in Silicon Valley and in San Francisco or in California and build our tech businesses. But they had all become billionaires by then. And they felt like there was an opportunity. They wanted to see, could they create a community of like-minded people that could actually come together and collectively bring the power of that community to support entrepreneurs starting with Silicon Valley. That's where it started. But eventually now we have 61 chapters. We've been around for 32 years. And we have 15,000 members. Now we have two tiers of memberships. A lot of people assume that TiE is only by invitation. Yes, we have the charter membership, which is by invitation. Kind of much like what you do, and there's an approval process and an invitation process. But then we also have associate members. Anyone can be an associate member. Anyone who wants to stay close to entrepreneurship, close to investors. And a lot of people think we're a network of founders only. We're not. We're actually the world's largest entrepreneur and investor network. So pretty much, because investors actually get quite upset when I say, hey, one day maybe you want to be a founder. They're like, well, we are founders. We founded a fund, right? So when they set up a fund, they are founders as well. So we have a lot of the founders of the large VC funds and private equity funds who are also charter members of TiE. And this is the one place where they come back and support, the various objectives of TiE. And I'll get to that in a minute. But you can see that you don't have to be just a founder. You could be a founder. You could be a venture capitalist. We have a lot of corporate leaders because a lot of enterprises do enterprise innovation as well. The only way they can innovate is by engaging with the startup ecosystem as well. And that's where we have the likes of Microsoft and Amazon and Google and Pfizer and a lot of these companies who will get involved and engaged to support the overall ecosystem. And the thing about TiE, much like in BNI, is wherever we have chapters, the focus of the chapters is to support that ecosystem. So if we have a chapter in Dubai, that chapter in Dubai is focused on supporting the startup and innovation ecosystem in Dubai. In Delhi, TiE Delhi is one of our biggest chapters, right? And in Delhi, for TiE Delhi, the focus is how do you support entrepreneurs in Delhi? How do you foster that ecosystem? A couple of years ago, KPMG did a report and an audit on TiE, and it quantified TiE's impact over the last 30 years. And TiE's impact on the entrepreneur economy over the last 30 years, because this was done in 2022, that was our 30-year anniversary, they quantified that at over $1 trillion US in terms of wealth created by founders that were part of TiE. We supported about 25,000 plus startups around the world. So, of course, we've got a very large base in India, but this would have included US, India, Europe, and Asia as well. And we do have a very strong focus on angel investing as a community. So every month, much like you have this catch-up, every month we have in different chapters. And as part of TiE Global Angels, we actually have founders coming in pitching. Those founders are curated. They have to submit their details, the pitch. There's a team that reviews it in each chapter. So this is across all our chapters. And we basically have them come and present and pitch for funding. And over the last 30 years, TiE has invested through this community over $70 billion US. Now, this does not include the funding that is provided by the founders of our VC funds. So, for example, Jungle Ventures or Peak 15, the founders are charter members of TiE. In fact, it was very interesting last year. So I'm based in Singapore, and we host the TiE Global Summit every year. By the way, this year is in Bangalore. You must all try and be there. We are expecting about 25,000 people to come and attend that. Last year was in Singapore. We actually had the founder of Peak 15. Peak 15 is the erstwhile Sequoia, so one of the largest venture capital funds. And the founder actually shared his life story and said when he started life as an entrepreneur, before he became an investor, it started with TiE in Silicon Valley. He said that's where the seeds of that's where he was nurtured as a founder. And then eventually, of course, he's very successful now. He runs the largest fund in Asia. So I think we find many, many stories like that. As you can see, Bill Gates is one of the recipients also of our Lifetime Achievement Award. So every year, TiE gives out a Lifetime Achievement Award. This year, we gave it to Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang is the founder of NVIDIA. He's truly democratizing the AI revolution. How many people know this guy? We all got to know this guy through during COVID, right? Because he actually we don't give this guy credit enough, but he actually changed people's lives. That's the way we all stayed connected in person, in our personal lives, in our professional lives throughout COVID. And now, of course, they're struggling with their own success because now, people don't do that many Zoom calls. So they're obviously evolving their business a lot. But people like Eric Yuan are founders who have been very, very committed to TIE's cause. And what we do from an events perspective also is we have the TIE Global Summit, which basically goes around the world every year. We have TIECon in each chapter, and I think you mentioned that you were at TIECon in Delhi, and TIECon Delhi, of course, is one of our largest events here. But TIE's largest entrepreneur event, which is one of the largest entrepreneur events in the world, is TIECon Silicon Valley, right? But TIE Delhi runs a very, very good TIECon as well. And I don't know if you guys have watched that show on CNBC called Tie the Knot. That Tie the Knot is also linked to TIECon. That's part of the event. We do have a lot of programs that support different entrepreneurs at different stages. And I would encourage, if any of you are interested, please do reach out. I mean, I will share my details with Abhinandan. Please feel free to reach out if you want to connect with fellow founders, or if you have a business you want to pitch to investors. Very happy to facilitate that. These are the 4 key tenets of TIE, the 4 pillars. So network access is one. So our charter members are very seasoned founders and investors and corporate leaders, and they can help. They basically bring the collective power to help budding entrepreneurs and support them by giving network access, much the way that you've got the give and the ask, right? But the difference is we're not doing it for each other, we're doing it for the ecosystem and the community. Mentorship is obviously our biggest focus. We have a lot of people who are always willing to give their time. And I'm always amazed and surprised. And I think I saw that very much in this room as well, because I saw, in your presentations, a lot of you mentioned mentors and I think mentorship is so important. And mentorship is not just about giving. I actually like to mentor because I actually learn a lot. Because when I speak to founders who are, who are in an industry that I'm not familiar with, when I'm trying to give them some, my inputs, I'm also learning from them. So I think mentorship is a two-way process. And it is amazing how many people who are so busy will always take out time for mentorship. That is the reality. You all experience that. I think Amrit's name came up twice as a mentor just in this room. So well done, right? So I think there's a lot of that. Capacity building is a big piece. So for example, TIE has been very, very involved in shaping India's liberalization, even in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. So TIE was very involved in streamlining the telecom policy, the investment policy. We work very closely with Gift City in India. We signed a big agreement with them to see how we can help India with capacity building in Gift. How can we bring more foreign direct investments into India? And how can we ensure that investment goes into companies that will create capacity and create more jobs, right? Eventually, it's all about job creation. We are working with the government of Bhutan, right? And when I saw someone had on their slide Bhutani founder, I was like, okay, maybe there's a founder from Bhutan, but I realized it was Ashish Bhutani you were talking about. But I'm going day after tomorrow with 8 other leaders from TIE from around the world who are actually going to spend time a day with the King of Bhutan and his team to see how we can help them. And as you all know, that India has announced that Prime Minister Modi has been very, very supportive of Bhutan. He was there in March. They have announced that they want to support Bhutan. The second country that is investing very heavily in Bhutan is Singapore. And so we want to make sure that we can help Bhutan, a neighbor of India, and they're the happiest country in the world. But guess what? They're not very happy right now because all the young people are leaving because they don't have any jobs. So we're trying to help them set up some sectors. So we do a lot of capacity building at that scale. And of course, we do a lot of funding and investing. Just some of the Indian origin leaders that have shaped TIE. And so people who've been on our board of trustees over the last 2 or 3 decades, I think a lot of people will resonate with some of these names. We have There are many others. I don't know why this slide, these are the names on the slide. But of course, the two people that we really admire who have been so deeply involved are Vinod Khosla and Kanwal Rekhi. Kanwal is still involved. He's nearly 80. I met with him a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of months ago in Silicon Valley, and Kanwal said one thing to me. He said, "Do not ever leave the lofty goals that TIE has." He said, because that is the power of communities. And I think that's the message here, is the power of communities is immense. And he said, we want to make sure TIE should be supporting 1 million entrepreneurs, creating 10 million jobs, right? So these are some of the programs. We run a very large program for Thai women, for women entrepreneurs around the world. We get participation from 62 countries around the world, where women founders come in, they pitch, they get support for mentoring and funding and investments. And I'm so glad that last year, the runners-up, so for the first time, we actually ran Thai women in Saudi Arabia, right? And for the first time, the runners-up actually was a Saudi female founder. So if any of you are interested, you got so many women entrepreneurs here. If you're interested, please let me know. Please be part of this. If someone wants to get involved, be part of this. We have the Thai Young Entrepreneur Program, which starts at high school. So allowing young kids, high school kids, to evaluate, is entrepreneurship. It's an exploratory process. They're not going to raise money. I mean, sometimes they can. Like we have the president of Thai in Thai Madhya Pradesh. His young kids, the twins, have actually received an award from Prime Minister Modi for building this great AI startup. They're 9-year-olds, right? So we do have programs for kids to explore entrepreneurship, just so that they can make their informed choices as they grow. And then we have programs working closely with universities and university kids. Just some of the impact stuff. We run hackathons around the world that connect ecosystems together. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this. This is where the power of community comes in. And I can see that energy and that positive energy in this room. So when COVID hit in 2021, I remember, as I was speaking to people in India, I was, at that point, I was president for the Thai Singapore chapter. And we realized that there was so much to be done in India. And, so I spoke to a few of our board members and said, we're entrepreneurs, we're investors, we know how to raise money, right? We know how to deploy for solutions. We can't just sit there. We're not a charity. But when we do a lot of philanthropy as a community, I said, let's step up and do something. So if I can I know I've taken a lot of time, so tell me when you want me to stop. Yeah?
Last 45 seconds.
Okay. Well, then I can't give you that story. Well, we'll leave that for a session over a drink. Okay. So we decided we wanted to do something. We said we'll make it a global program out of Singapore. This is how you orchestrate things, right? And I'm just sharing this experience because this is the power of communities, but this is also tenacity as entrepreneurs, right? So I said, okay, what do we need for this? We need a platform that can run the fundraiser. We need some celebrities. And of course, we need a lot of people in Thai to give money. And so I spoke to Atul Satija, who's the CEO of Give India. And Atul said, who's your celebrity? I had no one in mind. So I was like, okay, if I've got to make up a name, I might as well just say Amitabh Bachchan. And he said to me, the Bachchan family doesn't do philanthropy. I said, Atul, I'm not asking for his money. I'm asking him to support the fundraiser. So he said, who's your seed donor? And I said, Vinod Khosla, because I knew that Vinod was doing a lot of charity. And I kid you not, I sent him a message at 1 a.m. my time after I got off the call with Atul. By 1:15, Vinod Khosla came back and committed $1 million. And once I got that, everyone came along. You got Amitabh Bachchan. I had Lara Datta anchored the whole process. We had the whole Bollywood fraternity, the cricket team, all the spiritual gurus. And we ended up raising money, and we were very clear that was only going to go towards Tier 2, Tier 3 healthcare dark zones. So we set up oxygen plants. That was probably the most fulfilling 3 months. The most painful because of what was going on, but the most fulfilling part of my 3 to 6 months, just going through that process and seeing the power of the community. People were calling me and writing $50,000 checks. right?
This was all going live. I remember seeing.
Yeah, this was a 3-hour live show where all these celebrities came along. Salman Khan gave his Facebook handle, Shah Rukh Khan gave his Twitter handle or whatever, and it was amazing. Yeah, so Lara anchored this for us, and by the way, if you actually do the search, it is a larger fundraiser. So she ended up, I mean, these are celebrities, right? For her, it was a competition with Priyanka Chopra, and this fundraiser was bigger than Priyanka Chopra's fundraiser. So, oh, sorry. So this is the last slide. I will say one thing, that the power of communities is really, really immense. I think there's a lot of learning for us as well. I was taking a lot of pictures, and I love the way that you guys run this with so much rigor, and you're making it time efficient for everyone. You're making it productive in the outputs. So keep that going, and I hope to see you guys, some of you, again at somewhere. And if you're interested in anything that Ty does around supporting entrepreneurs, please do reach out to me. So thank you so much, and thank you, Abhinandan. Thank you.